Hey ladies, Jerry here, Coach Jerry, and welcome to the very first episode of the High Value Lady podcast. Okay. Now, hopefully in this podcast, you're going to find a space for yourself to be able to understand what it takes, in my opinion at least, to become the high value lady. Okay. We're going to dive deep into what it is for me, what I mean when I'm saying the high value lady. And specifically, that means that you are in a situation right now in your life that everything seems to be okay, like you are in a very good place in your life, your career might be okay, the relationships is okay, yet you're never able to build that body that reflects the identity that you are inside. And therefore, of course, you struggle with never being able to achieve the body you want, and that makes you feel like it's limited, like your life is limited, like your success is limited, maybe in your career, maybe in your relationship. We're gonna dive deep into the coming weeks about specific scenarios. But today I wanna talk about for a second why you are stuck into this place of not knowing what to do when it comes to choosing a nutrition, why you're never able to break your weight loss plateau. So you go around and find yourself in a situation about losing and gaining the same 5 kilo or 10 pounds or sometimes more. And again, this might apply to different kind of scenarios. You might be a woman that stress eat, and therefore she works out, but she doesn't necessarily know what strategy to use. It might apply to a woman that is an emotional eater. Whatever the case is, right now you find yourself with this idea that you must understand, or you've been told that in order for you to get the results, you have to exercise more or move more and eating less, okay? AKA jump in some sort of diet. Today, we're going to understand briefly why you find yourself in this specific situation such as this. I know this food is bad for me. I'm not gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it just today, and then I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna go on a diet on Monday. I'm gonna stop eating this specific food. This is one of the last time I'm eating that. Like you've been saying that to yourself. And if you are this specific person, you know damn well that you start you have these scenarios, whatever the case is in your life, and then you say, I want to jump in a diet, or not, of course. And again, what that means. It means to you that you're going to be starving, okay? And this is, as you can see here, is a big mistake, the starvation mechanism, which that means that you cut off food or food groups, okay? When you jump into a diet, whatever the case is, you keto, paleo, vegetarian, vegan, you always restricting some sort of food or food groups. And if you do that, chances are it's never going to be long-term, okay? Instead of, and again, this is the psychological, the physiological component. We have a 2,000 calorie maintenance level, which usually means that by nature, for you to be able to maintain the same weight, and we're not going to dive deep into the metabolism, pathways, and everything, but to maintain the weight, you need, let's say, for example, 2,000 calories, and then you're supposed to create a 300 to 500 calorie deficit. Okay, you can see this here. If you do that sustainably, you will lose weight, your body will adapt, you sustainably will create the weight loss that you need. When you jump into these diets though, what happens is that you jump on a 1,000 calorie deficit on a day because you're cutting off food or food groups. And as a result of that, your metabolism, basal metabolism creeps down to 1,200 calories, something of that nature. Take this number as an example. It's not necessarily going to be that for you, but this is what happened. And as a result, physiologically, right, you're not able to sustain it because your body start creating, you start producing hormones. Your brain start producing hormones like ghrelin, like it elevates the level of leptin, which is another hormone of, that regulate your fat inside and outside your cells. And more on a simple jerk for you to understand is that you're developing cravings. You're developing cravings and you're developing hunger, and you say to yourself, I'm not really hungry. It's more like cravings. It's psychological, right? So this is why, exercising more and eating less, if you're this type of person, will not work for you unless you understand the physiology and the biology and the evolution behind it. In other words, instead of jumping from diet to diet, you need to create a sustainable calorie deficit, which this you might already be known. But what you don't understand and why you cannot do that most of the time is because you don't understand why do you eat and why do you struggle with food? Okay, there is almost like a graph that you need to understand. Like, you know, there is x-axis and y-axis, and let's say on this axis on the bottom here, you have a you know, a hunger. So this is almost like physiology. So you're really eating for hungry. So you never want to be feeling starving, and you never want to be feeling stuffed, right? You want to find a way to feel satisfied right in the middle. Also, you have the other axis here is a taste axis. People don't understand that you need to eat for taste. If you don't give your brain the taste level, or let's say if you don't satisfy your brain, if you want to call it that way, you're not going to be able to sustain anything, right? If you eat on very low taste level, and usually this could be because also you're trying to do a quote unquote diet or clean eating, you're not going to be able to sustain it, because as you see here, the level taste is too low, right? And this means usually when you are in a diet, when you cut off food or food groups, or when you are intermittent fasting or any sort of restrictive diet, or also clean eating. Most people don't understand. You clean eating, meaning like you eating clean food, you know, doesn't mean that it's low in calorie, but also specifically doesn't mean that it's going to be long lasting, right? Another way to see it, if you eat super tasty, meaning like if you eat high palatable, high calorie food, which would include high calories, high sugar, high fat, this will predispose your brain to spike ghrelin and other hormones that, yes, by nature, and this is physiological this time, you know, is going to make you binge. And again, you will feel like this is psychological. You will feel like, oh, there is almost like a monster inside. I cannot control my cravings yet. You know, this is physiological. Okay, so you need to find a way to eat tasty, feeling satisfied, which usually means that you have to eat low calorie dense, high volume, high fulfilling foods. But in the same way, you need to hit on an 8 calorie deficit. You need to hit on a 8 taste level, right? Such that, or 7 or 8, or such that you're eating tasty, like let's say for 70 or 16 or 70, 80% of the time, yet you're not eating, yet you still don't feel like you're in a diet, okay, if that makes any sense. And how do you translate that, and I will make a separate video about it, is, for example, let's say that for breakfast you like to eat a pancake, or for breakfast you like to eat some sort of some sort of oatmeal, or whatever the case is. Let's take the pancake example. If you cook a regular pancakes, you know damn well that like that would be really unhealthy, right? Yet if you start taking the pancakes and instead of taking the pancakes mixer, the powder, you just add a scoop of whey protein of your choosing. You add white eggs instead of the whole egg, right? And then you substitute sugar sweetener with sugar, or some sort of, let's say, low calorie and low sugar, how do you say, like the maple syrup, for example. You will have made a healthier version of a pancake. Yet a pancake is still high volume, is still high fulfilling. So you still eat a food that it makes you feel like you're not dieting, yet you find a way to make this low calorie dense and a high fulfilling and high tasty, such that you can maintain this long term. Okay. If you like this specific video, give this a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this with somebody else. And right now I'm going and of course, if you feel like you have any requests that you want to make, and let me know if you want me to make specific different kind of videos or whatever that could help you, because this is just the first episode of the High Value Lady podcast that is gonna put a light specifically into what it takes for you to become the high value lady and to finally build the body that you love and that you crave for.